Hello Taurus, and welcome to Embrace the Moon Tarot and your 2017 September reading. I was trying to tap into Taurus energy before I began, and I felt solid yet stoic. Kind of, you feel like you have your feet on solid ground, but you're feeling a bit apprehensive. Like you're willing to be open, but you're not willing to be full-fledged trusting. If that makes sense. You're not just accepting whatever presents itself. You're not accepting to be as something that you want to allow into your life, or allow the energy to come into your life, or allow to accept as anything worthwhile for you to be putting your energy into or combining your energy with, unless it has proven itself to be something valid and something that is going to work with you as much as you would work with it. So stoic, solid yet stoic. So let me see what sort of energy we can get for you for this month. I'm doing a slightly different spread than I usually do. So if you have been following me for a little while, you'll probably notice this. But it seems to be giving just as much energy. So we'll see what it gives for you. And if you have been following me, thank you. Appreciate it. If you're new, welcome. Past, present, strength, focus, potential obstacle, and potential end of the month of September. So let's go ahead and move the potential obstacle out of the way so we can focus on the recent past. The recent past, we have 9 of Pentacles. And the recent past has had you see things that you had been hoping for and putting effort into sort of grow and expand and provide what you had anticipated it was going to provide for you. It had grown and blossomed into the very thing that you had anticipated it growing into. And this includes both that which you saw was going to have a positive bloom or blossom or harvest, and even the expectations you've had of less than positive. You had seen some things, kind of some seeds that had been planted out of your control, but somehow has some impact on your life in one way or another. You had seen these seeds be planted, this garden being taken care of from other people, and the windfall still kind of impacting you, and you had anticipated some less than beautiful roses blossoming and blooming in that garden, and indeed you were correct. So this is both facets, but you have in both ways seen things progress and blossom. You have seen the seeds go from being planted to actually getting to the point where it has produced whatever it was meant to produce. And there's a bit of a comfort that comes with that, not just in the things that you had participated in the garden that you had had tended to, that you were hoping would bring the things that you had planted and did. But even seeing other things that were out of your control, whether it was positive or negative, seeing the seeds planted and knowing what it was going to produce, and seeing that it did indeed produce what you had anticipated, brings you a sense of comfort. Not so much satisfaction, because you're not hoping any ill will on anybody, and you're not taking any time to be rejoicing in the negative aspects that had grown, but there's a bit of comfort and knowing that you had that foresight. And part of that is probably because since you had the foresight, there was some preparation that you had done with you and your person to help block, so that none of that windfall had come and impacted you any greater than it could possibly do. You couldn't control all of it, but what you could control, what you could block, what you could limit, you did. And so your garden that you have tended to still was just as beautiful as you had hoped, because of the work that you've put into it. So what you were harvesting and the lushness that it's providing you makes you feel comforted that not only could you prepare and tend and grow what you wanted to, but that you could prepare and tend to make sure that as little harm from others has come to allowing you to bring forth what you've brought forth. The current energy is King of Pentacles, and there's a bit of stop that has occurred. So all of this hard work that has been put in, that you've been putting in, and the harvest that's becoming it, the seeds that were sown, and what it has been bringing forth, and you've seen this transformation, you've seen this growing, this blossoming, this blooming. It's kind of come to a plateau, and you don't feel stuck though. You feel very solid in where you're at. There's still some things that need to be harvested, but it's not time yet, and you recognize that. You recognize that there are still some things that need to come to the surface. There's still some things that need to be worked on, and I feel, as far as the King of Pentacles, this is personal. The Nine of Pentacles was personal too, and both, like I said, that which you yourself had participated in planting, and that which others you had seen were planting, that was going to in some way impact your personal life, and being prepared for it. It's a very personal, very internal situation. And the King of Pentacles, I feel, is showing that it's not done yet. It's reversed because it's not done yet. Completion, it hasn't reached its full completion. It hasn't reached its capacity, full manifestation. And you know this. You know that there's still a little bit more to be done. There's still a little bit more that you're going to be experiencing, that you're going to be sifting through. Some more work in your personal garden to get full harvest from everything that's been transpiring. And to continue blocking, anything that might be from other gardens that you don't want to come into your garden. You know that this isn't done. And it's reversed to represent how much it's not done. But it's in this position at all because it's validating what you already know about the situation, what you already feel about the situation. And when I commented about how there's feeling solid but a bit stoic, so stoic being kind of not fully trusting everything, and I hate to kind of use that term, because I feel like saying that you don't trust kind of puts on in the mindset that there's some cynicism, and I don't feel that there's cynicism. You're just being cautious. You're protecting that which you have already gained, what has already blossomed, and you're making sure that no damage comes to that, and no damage comes to what can still potentially come from this. So you're very attentive from the vibrations that are going on around you, and what you're allowing to enter into your life, or what you're allowing to enter into your garden, because there's still work to be done. There's still growth that's going to happen. There's still some blossoming that's going to occur, and you want to give it all that you can, as much space to be healthy, to see it to its full potential. And so that's why you feel solid. You know that you are on the right path. You know where you need to be. You know the work that you've put in has rendered what you're supposed to get out of it. You've done what you're supposed to do. You're not quite at the finish yet. You haven't managed to harvest everything, but you know it's coming. And that's why it's there at all. Just to let you know that you're right. There's still more work to be done. And it is coming. The completion will be coming. Your strength is Ace of Swords. And this is all about your approach. And not just thinking, verbalizing. And I feel that this has more to do with those other gardens that you've seen planted that you knew was going to impact you and you had to guard against. Your strength is going to be wise with how you approach. Be mindful, and the changes that you've already made has already had you approaching this slightly different than you would have if this same experience would have occurred, say, 5 years ago. So your approach is already different. How you consider when you're contemplating this entire situation and this experience, and how you feel inside, and how you are tending to it. It's already new and different than the way and who you were several years ago. But I feel that the Ace of Swords is being presented as your strength, because it's letting you know that this has to transfer in your dialogue. It can't just be your internal perception and means of contemplation as you're working through this inside your own head and hashing it out so that you can prepare yourself and how to deal with this as you continue to move forward. This has to trickle out and continue in how you handle your approach and how you verbalize. So not just your thoughts, but your words, because sometimes I feel that what you think and how you perceive and the way it's being said sometimes aren't quite the exact match that you want it to be. Or I think the better way of saying it is, you don't realize how much they don't match, or how much those who are hearing what you're saying aren't perceiving and aren't receiving what you have to say in the same perception that you had thought before you had spoken, if that makes sense. So make sure that your dialogue and what you have to say matches this new form of thought approach of what you've been utilizing in dealing with this situation. Your focus is strength. And I pulled this out, and whenever I pulled it, it sort of fell out as if it wasn't quite reversed and it wasn't quite upright. And so I contemplated on how to put this down, and I put it upright. But I feel that this Three of Cups comes with the message, and the message has to do with support, emotional support. But I really feel that you're supposed to focus on how you give your emotional support. Be mindful that you're not giving more than you should be. That you're not giving of yourself more than you should be. And I feel that you already are kind of with that solid stoic vibration that I was kind of picking up on in the beginning of the video. You're already kind of being mindful of how you are reaching out and being supportive of others. But I feel that you're supposed to kind of draw your focus a little bit more on your approach to support, so that you can be just as giving as you always are, because you do give to others so that they can feel solid and grounded and what have you. But there's a way that you can go about this that you're not depleting your own reserves. That's the message of this Three of Cups. So be mindful that you're not depleting your own support for yourself and the process of supporting others. And there is a way that you can do this so you can be supportive, but not at any sort of loss on your part. And so focus on finding what it is that you're supposed to be doing so that you can be every bit as giving but never depleting of your own reserves. So the obstacle of this month is 8 of Pentacles. And the potential obstacle has to do with you refining. I feel that this is reflective on the message of the Three of Cups. Refining that skill of giving, but never at a loss of what you can give to yourself. The obstacle is going to be refining that. You're going to have moments where you give and then you feel depleted because of how you give and who you're giving to. And I don't feel that you're being requested not to give to these people. The way you offer your love and support, you're not being asked to stop giving this, but you're being asked to figure out how you can continue with this skill that you have to offer this sort of help to other people and not take from your own reserves. That's the obstacle. It's what you have to focus on, and it comes together. They're so connected. The message is so connected. Because as it comes up as an obstacle, when you feel those moments of depletion, you'll realize what you've done. And you'll ponder on whether you should continue giving or not. And then you'll want to give because it's just what you feel you're capable of doing, what you want to do. It helps you feel fulfilled on a soul, spiritual, internal level. And so then you'll try to give, and you'll try to figure out how you can give without depleting, but you're not going to, there's a good chance you're not going to be successful at the first turn of trying to make this change. So it's going to create an obstacle as you try to figure out the balance of giving without depleting yourself. So that's why it's an obstacle. Honing that skill to give without lacking to give for yourself. The end of the month, and I feel, again, this is very heavily related to that ability to hone that skill of giving without depleting your reserves, is going to allow you to feel more connected on a spiritual level. Some of those connections that you'd seen, like I said, it kind of gave you comfort to see that you were able to see what others had planted and what came as a result of it, without it you being an actual participant in it. You were able to see. One of the reasons why it gave you comfort is because you felt a higher connection as a result of it. It's not that you saw these less than positive things grow that gave you comfort. It's the fact that you were able to perceive it, because by recognizing you perceive what was going to come in the future as a result of this, you realized the connection that you had with on a higher level that both allowed you to see what was forthcoming as well as to prepare for it. And so that allows you to be even more giving too, because then you know how you're supposed to give and in what amounts you're supposed to give. That's actually going to be helpful for those who want to receive from you, but again, not depleting your supply. And all of this is going to promote you to being at a higher level of connection on a spiritual level to your higher self, to your higher divine, whatever it is, however you define that connection that allows you to continue to see and to perceive and to be able to continue to give to others and give to yourself without depleting. It's really creating that space and opening up the doorways to get you to that point that come the end of September, you'll feel so much closer to that. You'll have much more experiences of those connections that bring you comfort solely because of how you have the ability to see, perceive, prepare, give, and what it means for you with the giving and the honing of the skill of how you can give for others. So let me go ahead and pull a card to sort of wrap this all up, pull it all together for you and see what I can get for you. kind of a quiet reading, but powerful in its message, I feel. Shift the way to new potential. I feel this message is just continuing that message that you've already received as far as how you can really work on that focus and creating that better skill of how you can give, shifting the way to new potential, shifting the way to that new horizon that you've kind of seen is coming, that's going to help you see this to completion, that work that you've been working on, and get to where it's finalized. But yeah, shifting, making the shift, seeing the shift, doing what you need to participate in the shift and everything that comes with the shift, so that that harvest that you've been working for will definitely be as big and beautiful and luscious as you've been working for it to become. All right, Taurus, that's all I have for you for this month. I hope September is a good month for you. Make it a great one, and I'll see you in the next one.